Forgive the way I laugh. Forgive the way I cough. Forgive the way I smile. I'm giggling all the while. Forgive my nose. Please forgive this tasting clothes. Forgive me when I spit. Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me, give me, please. I'm down on my knees. Forgive me, give me, please. Forgive me. Oh, forgive me.
These gentlemen here, this is Michael Lipton on guitar from West Virginia in the USA. And this is Robert Coyne, my son, from London. And this is James Little, James Juppee Little, a drummer from West Virginia too, from Charleston, West Virginia. That is.
Forgive me for saying please. Forgive the way I am. Forgive me.
Yeah, I don't know if we actually did it, but beforehand we got together.
There was always music around when we were kids, and he was always working, writing tunes or whatever, and he's a very spontaneous guy, and that's his method, you know. It flows very freely from him, and I grew up with that idea that it was possible to do. This was the way to be, you know. I think a lot of people don't understand that, you know, or don't know that you can, you know, music isn't something that's somebody else does, you know. It was always in the house. I understood that it was something I could do.
You got to forgive me. Got to forgive me. You must forgive me. Forgive me, give me, please. I went out on my knees. Forgive me, please. I went out on my knees. Forgive the way I cry. Forgive me for waving bye-bye. Forgive my salad days.
Well, it took me a while to even knowing the way my dad works. It's a very different method than anybody else uses, anybody else I've ever played with. You know, it's just entirely spontaneous, and that's quite. That takes some. You know, I think I'm getting better at it. I think this new record we've done, I like quite a lot. I think it's a good thing.
But he comes up with lyrics and things, and then.
Well, everything is done on the spot. You know, instantly.
Give me, please. I'm way down on my knees. Forgive me. Forgive me.
Initially, there wasn't a lot of contact, you know, because contact by phone. But my dad was in a bad way at that time, really, with drinking, and you know, it had been rough, really, at home for a few years at that time, and the relationship wasn't as good as it is now, and you know, it took a while to build it back up.
Andre Flo has moved on, now a Celtic player. So Gudjonsson, who cost £4 million when he was signed from Bolton in the close season, has the opportunity to take a regular place.
Got the impression that you live like an exile in here.
Well, I feel like that to some extent, yeah. Yes. I sometimes feel like James Joyce in Paris or something. Maybe that's a little grandiose, but no, I do. Well, you know.
What keeps you here, then?
Well, Helmy, I think, as much as anything, and that's as good a reason as any, yeah, you know. And financial, you know, it's living in London and going back there, it's a very expensive place to go back to. Although I could, if I really wanted to, I could do all of those things and go back and reorganize things. And I'm thinking now of maybe my son, one of my sons has a place over there in Brixton in South London. I'm thinking maybe of going back, spending some time with him. Because you know, Robert is working on my records and touring with me, so I don't really know, but Helmy likes London very much, so I
Would
think...
you join him?
Absolutely.
Yeah, she'd be over straight away, I know this. And I mean, it's a great city, and you really can't compare it with Nürnberg. Nürnberg is provincial in many ways, but I love Nürnberg too. I mean, they've been very kind to me here, and you know, I won the Culture Prize here, which was quite a lot of money in 1990. I think it was the first foreigner ever to do it.
Was it for your art or for
For
your...
my art and
For everything,
I
just,
do.
you know.
And there was a lot of recognition of, you know, what I do here, which is marvellous, which is more than I can say for my hometown in England, but which is Derby. But of course I've never lived there for years and years, and I suppose there's some reason for that. But it's certainly, you know, they've made me welcome, and I hope I really appreciate that. I have a lot of fondness for the Germans, I have to say that.
But
I
at
get
the same
quite sentimental about it. Sorry?
But at the same time, I think, I wouldn't say you hate them, but you certainly talk about the war almost every day.
No. Well, I think anybody who comes from, you know, another culture, you know, the war has to feature somewhere. And, you know, maybe not for Germans. Maybe they can thrust it but to the back of their minds. Maybe, I'm not sure. But certainly living in a city like Nuremberg, one is reminded. It's not true to say I hate any of the Germans. That's not true. That's terribly wrong to say that. I feel very insulted when you say that. I mean, why did you say that?
Well, because sometimes you say very nasty things.
Yeah, but don't you say
Yeah,
nasty?
no.
You'd say nasty things about the English if you had to.
No, I would never do that.
If you had to sit around while they, you know, they close the bars too early. They.
But I appreciate that because I don't drink anyway.
Whatever, but they've got strange habits too. This is for sure, and I can get very angry about them too.
Yeah. You still feel like somebody in an exile, but a bit more comfortable now,
Yeah, sure.
mentally at least.
That's right. Yes, but I tend to think that I'm, you know, maybe not so relaxed anywhere. Anyway,
That's true.
That might be the case.
Wherever
Might
you
just
go.
be me.
Yeah.
Might not be Germany. Might not be anywhere. The problem is probably me. But it's not a big problem, and I'm used to myself. Whether others are, I'm not so sure. But
let your heart sing, let it take wings, let your little soul trill. Life is wonderful, super, every moment's a thrill. Sing to the clouds late at night, don't let the dark get you down. Imagine you're a princess sitting somewhere on a long, tall seat with a crown. God watches over you. God watches over you. God watches over you. At least that's what he says he does. At least that's what he says he does.